Hello, here's Roman, Product Manager at PacketFabric. In this video, I'm going to show you how to get started with Terraform and PacketFabric. But first, what is Terraform? Terraform is a HashiCorp open source tool that enables you to create, change, and improve your infrastructure by using code. You can then use a consistent workflow to provision and manage all of your infrastructure through its lifecycle. We have created our own Terraform-Provider, which allows PacketFabric customers to access, manage, and deploy our network resources with a minimum of effort and time from network engineering. What are the benefits of using Terraform? There are many, but essentially it will help you save time, money, and do more with less. For example, you can easily integrate Terraform in a CI/CD pipeline to automate the management of your infrastructure. Since the configuration is written in a file, you can commit it to a version control system such as GitHub or GitLab and manage Terraform workflows across teams, which makes it easy to collaborate. So how does it work? Somebody writes some code in HCL. HCL means HashiCorp Configuration Language, and that code would describe the infrastructure he or she wants to deploy. HCL is declarative, describing an intended goal rather than the steps to reach that goal. Then you can test and execute the code using Terraform. Terraform will translate the configuration to the Service Provider API down to the destination infrastructure provider. You can find providers from many of the platforms and services you probably already use in the Terraform registry. Let's start by installing Terraform on your laptop. So here I'm going to terraform.io and I'm going to navigate under the open source page. Here you can download Terraform, which is compatible for pretty much every platform, Mac, Windows, Linux, and so on. So here I already installed on my Mac, and I'm using VS Code, which is a really cool tool. It's an IDE, right, to edit code and files and so on. And here I just open a terminal and just show you Terraform is being installed. I can do the Terraform-V showing the version. Alright, and here I am on my laptop here. I'm gonna go into a directory I created in my home folder called demo. So I do a cd demo and then, there's nothing in it. Alright, next step, build your HCL config. So here I am on the PacketFabric.com website and I'm gonna go under Docs in the menu and then click on Terraform Providers. And then from there, I end up on our documentation website, which contains tons of good information. I highly recommend you to look around. But here I'm gonna go on the first link, and the first thing I'll do here, I'll just click on the use provider and copy the snippet of code here. So back in VS Code, I'm gonna open the folder I created earlier, the demo folder. And then from there I will create a main.tf. Doesn't matter the name, but the extension matters. Is commonly used. .tf will be for the Terraform extensions. And then from there you can see it's pretty simple. The first part is to define the provider we're going to use. So in our case, the PacketFabric Terraform as well as a version. And then the provider block will contain the configuration of that provider. So here we've got nothing in there. So now back on the Terraform registry here, navigating under Documentation tab, and we'll look at the Getting Started page, which will contain all the information you need to know to get started. So the first things to do is to set up an API key. So the API key will be used to access our PacketFabric API endpoint, and to do that we'll have to log in on the portal. So here I log in on the portal. You can find the link on packetfabric.com on the top right. And here is the portal. Here we are in dark mode. You can switch to non-dark mode if you like. I like dark mode personally. And then right above it, you have an API key link. So from there, I just click on create a new key, give it a name, an expiration. Highly recommend to set an expiration. I will just set 1 day for the demo. And then copy that key. All right, so from there, I'm gonna go back and scroll down a bit, and you can see here we have export pf under token, so we're gonna use that. So essentially here, what I'm creating is a new file, which I will call secret.env. But before calling secret.env, I just copy paste the variable name, and you can see here I just remove the the extra character and basically move that API key as a value, setting the value of the PF underscore token. So what that does essentially here is going to set the environment variable which the provider will use to authenticate. So it's one way to to keep things more secure. We don't like to store API keys and things like that in the HCL code. It's good practice to have that outside. And here's the next step we need to do is to get the account ID. So for the account ID, I'm back on the portal. I just click on the search bar at the top and look for billing, and then you can see account billing here. And I'm gonna copy that UID here under billing account, and I'm gonna transfer that over into my env.secret file I created, and then we have also another environment variable called PF account ID, and here I'm just replacing the demo value here with the real value. All right, let's save. Back on the main.tf, and here what we're gonna do just for the demo, we're gonna go back on the registry and look under resources, and we're gonna create a cloud router. So here I navigated under PacketFabric underscore cloud underscore router, and I'm gonna copy the example usage. So here I'll just go ahead and paste it in there. And as you can see here, the example has variables. So you can use variables and set that up in a different file, but for the demo, I'm just gonna look at the schema details on that same page and essentially, populate the values here. So here we're gonna populate the speed, the capacity of that cloud router, and then here we're gonna be in a name, set up the ASN. So yeah, you see it's pretty easy. You can set up those directly in your main.tf, but you can also set those values in a separate file, which could be variable.tf, and this is where you could store those variables. So you can have your code and your variables. So you can potentially reuse the same code, same config with different variables. But here for the demo, I'm just replacing and hard coding some of those values to create this cloud router. All right, time to deploy the infrastructure. So here I will go ahead and open up the terminal here, and the first things you need to do is a Terraform init. So Terraform init will essentially download all the providers you define in your HCL config file and get those locally on your laptop. So once that's done, the next step, we're gonna source the files, env.secret file, to have those environment variable, stored there. And you can see here, if you do env pipe grep pf, you can see those. And then next, we're gonna do a Terraform plan. So Terraform plan allows you to see, to kind of test and see what you're gonna deploy and review, right? So here we can see our cloud router, which is showing on the screen. And then finally, we're gonna apply and deploy the changes, right? So here we're just gonna do the Terraform apply, and then review one more time and say yes. You can auto-approve those. There is an option to auto-approve, so you don't have to type yes, just as a name for AI. All right, it's done. So here, Terraform created a few files, but what I want to show you here is terraform.tf states, and this will contain the states of whatever you deploy using your Terraform config. So that's important to know. That state is preserved on a flat file. So let's go back to the portal and see our cloud router being created. So I just look and use the search box again, and then look for cloud router, and you can see here we have this cloud router, my cloud router, created here in the platform. All right, so that concludes the demo. There is many other resources you can deploy. You can see here we've got all the documentations in the registry, but there is also something I want to point out. On that same page, you have a link called example/use case. So I highly recommend you to have a look at that. And here we have a lot of different use cases, multi-cloud, just backbone VCs, marketplace, a lot of different things which are good demo examples you can use. And here is one of them: how to create a mesh of 15 VCs, between different ports on a platform. And there are other examples: how to connect AWS and Google, and so on. So each example has main.tf, and also all the variables are in one file called variable.tf. So you can download that, and I highly recommend, of course, to tune that variable files, review, using it as a kind of sample and examples. Thank you for watching, and please reach out if you have any questions. Bye.